the Ellen situation.
Yeah.
You know, people found out that Ellen was mean, and all these people came out and said, Ellen's actually a bitch. And then we're like, whoa, I can't believe it. And she lost everything. She fell apart, disappeared, because people found out that this character that she was portraying in a half an hour on a television show is not really who she was. My buddy Greg, who was one of her writers, was like, she's a piece of shit. And he was like, she's a fucking monster.
All these staffers started to come out, not for nothing, but I know a guy, I know him very well, whose sister worked for her, who said, you were not allowed to make eye contact with Ellen in the halls of that show. If you saw her,
Joe Rogan and Megyn Kelly have teamed up to expose the side of Ellen DeGeneres. The public rarely sees what's really hiding behind that flawless grin. Is it just cheerful dance breaks, or something far more dramatic? Spoiler, it's messy, awkward, and wildly entertaining. If you thought daytime TV was all cozy naps and kindness, brace yourself. This one's packed with juicy chaos, and nobody's pulling punches.
It's like a beautiful name, Isis.
Ellen's rough.
Ellen is like an old.
But it's a rough one now.
It's a rough one now because she was running Abu Ghraib in the back of her show.
it led to article after article of people being like, Ellen's a bitch. Ellen is a nasty person.
Ever notice when someone is so beloved, so flawlessly polite, so endlessly cheerful that it almost feels suspicious? That's Ellen DeGeneres in a nutshell. Daytime television's smiley sweetheart, motivational guru, and queen of niceties. But just as her reputation seemed bulletproof, to blunt media heavyweights stepped in to challenge it. Yes, two, none other than Joe Rogan and Megyn Kelly.
See, like a lot of people saying that someone who seems so nice is not nice at all.
She doesn't seem nice, but that's people have a very poor judge of character. She doesn't seem nice. It seems forced. People that are like that all the time, she doesn't seem nice. It's very forced. And whatever, you're allowed to be a right. You're allowed to be nasty to people. You're accomplished. You're a comedian. You did the whole thing. What you're not allowed to do is have a Guantanamo Bay situation in the backstage of your show where everybody's walking around afraid for their life, and it's like Abu Ghraib where they're hooked up to wires and they have.
You heard that right, Joe Rogan, the podcast titan who grills everyone from scientists to conspiracy theorists, and Megyn Kelly, the sharp-tongued journalist with no patience for spin. Both took aim at Ellen's sparkling reputation, and let's just say, things got weird, messy, and surprisingly funny.
For you on this, this is perfect for you. Because I'm seeing this week that there is an attempted comeback by somebody who did not cross one of those fateful lines of the misstepping on their sacred cows of gender or race or sexuality.
Yeah.
But she was said to be a nasty biatch, and that's Ellen DeGeneres.
Yeah.
So her show got canceled after she had this testy exchange with Dakota Johnson, where something happened where Dakota said, oh, I had this birthday party. And Ellen said, well, why didn't you invite me? You didn't invite me. And she said, like, no, I did invite you, Ellen. That's not what happened. And Ellen had blown her off and then tried to play the victim on the set with her. Anyway, it led to article after article of people being like, Ellen's a bitch. Ellen is a nasty person.
Let's start with Joe Rogan. His podcast operates like a cultural MRI. Nobody's public image gets a pass. Even the beloved icon of kindness didn't escape his scrutiny. Imagine Rogan in full skeptic mode, side-eyeing Ellen's cheerful image and asking, does all that sunshine really match the stormy rumors behind the scenes? His BS radar was locked in, and suddenly, Ellen's persona looked suspiciously polished.
Staffers started to come out, not for nothing, but I know a guy, I know him very well, whose sister worked for her, who said, you were not allowed to make eye contact with Ellen in the halls of that show. If you saw her, this is not a nice person. So she eventually got canceled, but now she's coming back. She's got a Netflix special. That's the right response.
Yeah.
She's got a Netflix special. And here's the capper. On the promo, and apparently there's now articles out about from people who have seen the preview, she plays the victim.
Rogan wasn't digging for salacious headlines. He was probing a deeper truth about Hollywood's glossy facadas and upbeat, happy-go-lucky workplace Ellen presented on TV. Off-camera whispers painted it as cold and exhausting. Smiles on set, but nerves behind the scenes. Rogan connected the dots, a glowing image on screen masking a frosty atmosphere off it. Like watching a Disney flick take a dark turn midway. And he didn't stop there. Rogan zoomed out to tackle the bigger beast, the marketing of niceness. When kindness becomes branding, someone always pays the price.
They crossed the picket line.
Yeah, I haven't seen anybody doing that yet.
I think Ellen did. I had a buddy of mine who was writing on Ellen. Everybody kind of knows now what she's really all about. And that's another one of those. Like, press. I'm so nice and I'm so sweet. Being behind the scenes.
Think Rogan was sharp? That was just one angle. Enter Megyn Kelly, and she came swinging from a whole different lane. While Rogan questioned the culture, Kelly went straight for the infrastructure. She put on her investigative lens and picked apart Ellen's whole operation, not just the TV set, but the machinery powering it, lawsuits, staff walkouts, the whispered stress factory. While audiences heard "Be kind," Kelly saw a system built on pressure and silence. This wasn't a show. It was a stress chamber. Her breakdown made Ellen's empire look less like a fairy tale and more like a corporate mirage.
For me, and she actually has the nerve to say that she was run out of Hollywood. This person
with $100 million in her pocket.
$450 million, according to Forbes. That's a low estimate.
Yeah.
Because so now she's out there saying, I was run out of Hollywood. She's actually reportedly complaining about how hard it is for women in America with the double standards.
Look at Oprah, how hard it is for her.
Oh, she's got, like 10 houses, Ellen DeGeneres?
Michelle Obama, look how hard it is for women in America. They're hurting.
They're going to let her back in, Rob, because she's a lesbian, she's a leftist, and she didn't hit one of their...
Kelly didn't stop with Ellen. She turned her spotlight on the media, too. She questioned why so many journalists seemed more eager to protect Ellen's polished brand than investigate the real story behind it. But Kelly didn't hold back. She dragged those contradictions into full view, peeling away the glossy smiles to reveal the messy truth beneath. This wasn't gossip hunting. It was a sharp, journalistic unboxing of celebrity packaging together. Rogan and Kelly formed a powerhouse team, part cultural breakdown, part in-depth probe, and all gripping. Rogan ripped through the shiny exterior with blunt doubt, while Kelly dissected the corporate machine driving Ellen's empire. They weren't chasing headlines, they were telling a story, raising questions, and landing a few punches that made Ellen's perfect image start to tremble. But why does this matter? Because it's not just about one famous face, it's about how we absorb celebrity culture. We're fed feel-good narratives, and rarely stop to ask what's real. This reminds us, behind every carefully staged kind persona, something very different might be unfolding.
Oh, well, you know where that is too, right? It's a similar image to that, right?
No.
I know Jamie does.
What is it?
It's on the set of a famous talk show that's now not on anymore.
Oh, Ellen? Was that Ellen?
Yeah.
Really?
But just look at the temple and then look at the...
Let me see Ellen's background.
Let's not confuse this for a personal attack. It's more like peeling back the shiny wrapping on a polished illusion. Sure, the sparkle's there, but so is the sleight of hand. What Rogan and Kelly offered felt like that brutally honest friend who speaks up just before you make a mistake. It's jarring, maybe even funny, but it hits you. So what now for Ellen? Her Be Kind image is a little tarnished, and her daytime legacy feels less fairy tale and more like reality show material. Viewers may not look at her dancing or smiling the same way again. And bigger still, other stars might start sweating, too, realizing that wrapping themselves in kindness doesn't make them untouchable. And the wildest part, Rogan and Kelly didn't even go after Ellen face-to-face. No viral clashes, no online feuds, no frantic damage control, just focused analysis, straight facts, and smart criticism. That's how reputations shift today, not with drama, but with precision.
She's a leftist, and she didn't hit one of their sacred cows. Nastiness, that's their bread and butter.
Well, I think everyone... I will say, like, the resentment, I think everyone should have a chance for reconciliation. I don't think Jesus exempted anybody. And so I do, while it does, because I have been allowed back in, but I don't hold any grievance and resentment. It's very important. And I would just say for Ellen, the resentment, you have to know, you have to get over resentment to whatever addiction or addictive qualities happen, to get over.
Here's the real plot twist. The biggest impact from Rogan and Kelly's takedown wasn't Ellen herself. It was the system that put her on that pedestal. When two strong voices from totally opposite ends of media collide, even by coincidence, it breaks the echo chambers surrounding celebrity culture. Think about it, Rogan, the unfiltered podcast king, thrives on off-script conversations and challenging narratives. Meanwhile, Kelly, the methodical journalist, delivers detailed critiques of the inner workings behind the fame. Together, They tore open a carefully managed media narrative, and the fallout was loud. Rogan fed his audience of skeptics hungry to expose fake smiles and empty slogans. Kelly backed it up with evidence, showing the cracks in the corporate structure. The result? A tag team of raw questioning and sharp reporting.
Bush are jumping around. I mean,
That's right. She was buddies with Bush. That
yeah,
was like
she's
one of
a
the first
CIA agent. Stephen Paddock. And do not ask me for sources, but Stephen Paddock.
Who's that?
He was the guy that shot up the Vegas concert. That was a very tragic thing. Listen to this. The only guy that saw Stephen Paddock alive, his name is Jesus Campos. He was a guard at Mandalay Bay. He got interviewed nowhere else. You know where he got interviewed in the beginning?
Ellen. Really?
Weird. And then they went on, if you could find that clip, they went on with a weird like diagram of how it happened, and Ellen's like showing the people how it happened. Not like an emotional like how are you feeling, how are you holding up. It was a weird diagram of like, and then he went to the left and to the right. It was very strange to look. What the hell's going on?
When their voices blend, it sends a ripple through the celebrity worship machine. Why does that matter? Because audiences today aren't just silent viewers. Thanks to Rogan and Kelly, people are waking up and asking how much of what they see is real and how much is smart marketing. That glossy image suddenly feels thin. And it's not just about Ellen anymore. It's a challenge to the entire fame ecosystem. People are tired of flawless narratives. They want the truth, even if it's ugly. The shiny stories don't sell like they used to. What this moment revealed is just how big the gap is between what's projected and what's real. And the strange part, none of it involved Ellen melting down on air or storming off a set. No social media fights. Just a quiet reckoning, driven by storytelling, insight, and unfiltered reality. It wasn't sensationalism. It was smart, and it made people think.
I should tell you
Uniform.
something.
Yeah.
Like, that's an odd look with all those buttons. Like, why do you have so many wrist buttons?
It was given to her in Langley.
The only reason why you have that many wrist buttons if you're looking at clothesline somebody.
Yeah, look at her. Look at her.
Everyone.
Everyone says she looks so friendly. She looks friendly.
She does look very military.
Yeah, she's a militant woman.
With a very expensive watch.
She
too.
dealt with a lot of discrimination when she came out. It was very sad, but then she joined the CIA.
Her house got broken into while she was at home.
Really?
Yeah. She got a dope place in Montecito.
And so, and they broke in while she was there.
Yeah.
And those people are still being tortured to this day.
Probably.
They're still in an underground jail.
Yeah.
And let's be honest, Ellen DeGeneres isn't exactly someone who needs our sympathy right now. If she wants redemption, maybe a sincere apology would help. But instead, she reappeared on Netflix, portraying herself as the unfairly canceled victim. Seriously, you're not canceled if Netflix hands you another giant paycheck. Her last deal made her $20 million. Let's not kid ourselves, she's not struggling in silence. What this saga really shows is that image has a limit. Eventually, the truth comes out, sometimes with help from unexpected voices like Rogan and Kelly. And if Ellen's legacy takes a few dents in the process, maybe that's what progress looks like. Because when the fairy tale unravels, what spills out might be messy, but it's honest. And next time someone stands on stage preaching kindness, maybe we should ask, what's hiding behind that smile? Because often, the biggest grins are covering the biggest chaos. And it takes people like Rogan and Kelly to get us to look twice.